You feel something that no one sees. And even without proof, you know, it's not by chance. There's a memory that doesn't belong to this time, but pulses within you. As if something very ancient awakened when his eyes met yours. It wasn't a meeting. It was a reminder. A calling. A spiritual seal that activated in the silence between one breath and the next. You've been feeling confused, but the angels whisper, nothing you feel is made up. Everything you sense is real. His soul recognized yours before his heart could translate it into gestures. And that's why he hides, because what you have is frightening. It dismantles, deconstructs everything he thought love was. He doesn't understand, but he feels. And every time he tries to run away, he's drawn back. Not by you, but by something much greater. You were sent. As healing, as a beacon, as a reminder of who he needs to become. This connection isn't about saving, it's about revealing. Through your presence, he will see who he is. Through your absence, he will discover who he chose to be. The angels say, you didn't come by accident. You came on a mission. He asked for someone to remind him of his own light, even if he didn't know it. And you arrived. This isn't just a love story. It's a pact made before matter, signed with silent promises between souls. And even if everything seems difficult, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And when you doubt, remember, you don't need to be understood by everyone. You just need to hear the voice that whispers within. Because the gifts and calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11 verse 29, he didn't reject you. He just didn't know what to do with what he felt. There are pains that wear masks. And he learned to survive by hiding each one of them. He wasn't taught to feel. He was trained to resist. To keep away from anything that touched too deep. You didn't do anything wrong. It was just too intense for someone who has spent their life trying to stay whole. The angels say, you activated something he no longer knew existed. And when a dormant soul is touched, it first reacts with fear. He saw you. And at the very moment he was enchanted, he was also terrified. Because loving you would be like walking naked in the middle of a temple, defenseless, out of control, with no hiding places. What you interpreted as coldness was self-protection. The silence that cut through your hope was confusion. And the distance that hurt was just a reflection of the battle he fights within himself. This man is not fighting against you. He is fighting against everything he has become in order not to feel. The angels reveal, he did not pull away due to a lack of love, but because you made love become too real. And the real demands surrender. The real cannot be controlled. And that's why he hesitates. But something within him is changing. Not through words. Not through promises. But because your light remains lit, even when he tries to extinguish his own heart. You are not the problem. You are the answer. The answer he still doesn't know how to accept. You loved him so deeply that you almost forgot to include yourself in that love. You embraced him like someone holding a wounded bird to their chest. You cared, you waited, you felt too much. But what about you? Who took care of you on the days when only silence answered your questions? The angels whisper, true love does not ask you to dim yourself. It flourishes in the light of who you are. You don't need to diminish yourself to fit into his story, nor silence your needs to keep the peace. Because peace that demands self-neglect is not peace. It is an absence of self. How many times did you justify him in the name of love? How many nights did your intuition scream, but you chose to wait just a little longer? You waited for him to come back, to change, to see you. But today the angels bring a reminder. Love starts with you, not with him. And if he still doesn't know how to stay, may you know how to remain whole. If he can't express what he feels, may you be able to listen to what your body is already whispering. If he can't choose you right now, may you choose yourself with strength and tenderness. You were not made to beg for emotional crumbs. You are the altar, the flame, the living offering of the woman who knows herself and honors herself. The angels say, his path is still uncertain, but yours begins when you return to yourself. And in that return, something changes. You realize you are not alone. You never were. The sky has been holding your hand in silence. And it reminds you now, what is yours does not get lost. But you need to remember yourself before anything else. You didn't scare him. You just made him see what he spent his life trying to hide. It wasn't the intensity of your gaze, nor the strength of your love. It was the clarity of your presence that stripped bare what he always avoided feeling. He saw you, and in that same instant, he was forced to see himself as well. And it hurt. The angels say, you were a mirror. And the reflection he saw was still shattered. You didn't come to provoke wounds. But without intending to, you touched on the ones he never healed. Your light didn't hurt him. It merely revealed the shadows he hides even from himself. That's why he contradicts himself. He says he feels, then pulls back. He gets closer, but runs from what starts to bloom. What you need to know is, the impact you made isn't about rejection. It's about depth. And depth requires courage. Not everyone is ready to dive in without knowing how to swim. You have a soul that embraces, but also awakens. And this, in a world so accustomed to superficiality, is a shock. The angels reveal, you are a reminder of everything he could be, if he stopped running from himself. So, don't carry the weight of his confusion. It is not a reflection of your worth. It is merely the natural reaction of someone who has seen for the first time a truth he didn't know how to name. Even if he never says it, he remembers. He feels. And every time the world leaves him empty, it's your presence that he longs for. He still doesn't understand what's happening, but something inside him has started to move. You heard nothing, but you felt. In the space between one absence and another, the air changed. As if a new breath had crossed through what was once just resistance. The angels whisper, when the soul hits the depths of silence, it begins to awaken. He didn't seek you out, but he thought. He didn't confess, but he questioned. What was once certainty now hurts. What he thought was control now exhausts him. And the memory of your presence returns like a prayer recited unwittingly. Because, even amid fear, there are cracks. Small beams of light paving the way where there was once only protection. It's not a visible change. It's a seed. And seeds are silent. You may not see, but the angels see. They witness the dreams he doesn't share, the tears he won't allow to fall, the questions he repeats in the dark. Why does she affect me so much? Why does nothing else fill me? Why does she remain alive inside me, even after everything? This is the beginning of the return, of the recognition, of the falling of the final layer. The angels say, awakening is confusing, but inevitable. And when he finally understands, it won't be through words. It will be from the absence of your light that he learns the value of what he lost. You were the starting point of the path he never had the courage to tread. And even if it now seems distant, the process has already begun. Everything is moving. Even if you still cannot see. He leaves not because he doesn't feel. He leaves because he feels too much. Have you ever wondered why he always comes back? Why does he disappear, but never completely? Why does he avoid you, yet watches you in silence with a heavy heart? The angels say, he draws closer every time he tries to forget you. This cycle is not indifference. It's confusion. It's the desperate attempt to maintain control over something that disarms him. You are not the problem. You are the beginning of healing, and healing sometimes hurts more than being hurt. That's why he runs. That's why he retreats, just when everything seems to start blooming. He wasn't taught how to nurture love, only how to survive its absence. And then he finds you. You represent everything he wished for, and at the same time, everything he feared. Because loving you is entering a place with no emergency exit. No manual. No masks. The angels reveal, every time he comes back, it's because something inside him has given way. Even if just a little. Even if he doesn't realize it. But still, he resists. Because the fear of losing himself in love is greater than the desire to find himself in it. And the cycle repeats: approach, escape, longing, return. Until one day, the cycle breaks. Not because you broke him with force, but because your steadfastness in remaining in your own light taught him that love is not a prison. It is presence. You don't need to chase after him or beg. Just remain in yourself. The angels say, he will come back. But not in the same way. He will return when he knows how to stay. You didn't heal him with words. You healed him with your presence. It was in your silence that he found the truest echo. It was in your gaze that his wounds felt seen, perhaps for the first time. And even without understanding, he allowed himself to feel. Because your love asked for nothing. It simply was. The angels say, true love doesn't invade. It touches like one who awakens something forgotten. You didn't heal him because you tried. You healed him because you existed. It was a presence that required no explanation. It was truth amidst so many defenses. He still doesn't know how to say it, but he carries you in layers that no one else reaches. And when the world weighs heavily, it's you he remembers. You whom his heart whispers to, even when his lips insist on denying. There are loves that make you ill. But yours was medicine. It was refuge. It was the pause between two internal battles. The angels reveal, you didn't come to fix him. You came to remind him that he always had what he needed within himself. And no matter how much he resists, something has changed. The way he breathes. The way he feels. What he seeks when he's alone. He is still at war with his feelings. But you have already conquered the hardest part. You've reached a place where no one has been before. Because your love didn't ask to be accepted. It merely offered itself as healing. And that's why, even from a distance, you remain. Not as absence, but as a mark. As a seed that is yet to bloom. Nobody is standing still. Even in silence, the sky is writing. You felt that everything came to a halt. That he gave up. That fate got lost along the way. But the angels say, there is no delay in divine plans. There is preparation. You see emptiness. They see the space being purified for something greater. You feel abandoned. They see his heart being deconstructed, piece by piece, until only what is real remains. He is not lost. He is being guided. Even if he walks down crooked paths, there is an invisible hand leading him to where his soul has always belonged. And this soul knows yours. God's timing isn't measured by clocks. It's measured by inner growth. By silences that shape. By weights that cleanse. By distances that align. You haven't lost anything. You're being prepared to receive everything. But not in the way you expected. And rather in the way your soul needs. The angels whisper, he hasn't returned yet, because he still doesn't know how to be. But he feels. And by feeling, he is already starting to find his way back. And if today everything seems suspended, it's because something sacred is happening in the invisible. Don't try to force the cycle. Don't try to understand with the mind what only the soul recognizes. True love has its own calendar. And when the time comes, nothing will be able to stop it. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. He feels everything, but he still doesn't know how to allow himself to feel out loud. There's a pain that silence doesn't explain, and a longing he can't name. He thinks about you more often than he'd like. But to talk? To give in? To open his heart? that still feels too risky for someone who has spent his whole life using strength as a shield. The angels say, love has touched him, but fear still reigns. You entered where no one has gone before, not with promises, but with your presence. And that has unraveled him. He was created to resist, to control, to never show weakness, even when everything inside him is crying out for comfort. And to love you would be to admit, I need something I've never known how to ask for. That's why he hesitates. That's why he pulls away just when he feels the most. Because loving for him still feels like becoming too vulnerable. And vulnerability, for someone who grew up on the battlefield, still sounds like danger. The angels whisper, he desires love. But he doesn't yet know how to strip away his armor without losing himself. But you see beyond. You feel what he doesn't say. You recognize the soul behind the fear, and that's what touches him. Even if he's not ready to confess. Even if he doesn't know how to return without breaking inside. You are already the safe haven his heart visits in silence. And it may take time. But every soul that has ever felt true, one day returns to it. Some loves don't arrive when you want them. They arrive when you understand that you no longer have to beg for them. You waited. You wished. You prayed with an open heart and eyes full of faith. And even without clear answers, something within you remained steadfast, as if your soul knew something the world has yet to understand. But now it's time to let go. The angels say, accepting is not giving up. It's trusting that what is yours will find its way without you having to lose yourself trying. You were not weak for loving, nor foolish for believing. You were brave for feeling so deeply, even without guarantees. But there comes a moment when love also needs space. Not to disappear, but to flourish without the weight of expectation. You've done your part. You were presence, light, healing, reflection. What happens from here on out no longer depends on your effort. It depends on his choice. It depends on divine timing. And God's timing never fails. The angels whisper, the right love is never lost. It only strengthens in the silent weight of two hearts that recognize each other. You are deserving, not of crumbs, but of devotion. Not of doubts, but of certainties. And if he is what your soul chose, he will find his way, even if through other paths. But if he is not, the heavens will open new doors. Doors where love arrives whole, ready, aligned with who you have become. Because now, you no longer wait to be chosen. You have chosen yourself. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11.